There are three very popular ways that you can test your exercise efforts to see if you are tapping into your fat stores, fat burning, or utilizing fat as an energy source during your workouts. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the three that I think are most common today and probably the easiest for anybody to be able to get access to and use. I did a video last week. I will link it here. I recommend watching it after you watch this video, so I'll make sure it's listed in the description box below also, where I talked about utilizing fat as an energy source when working out. A lot of times this is recommended in the form of doing zone 2 training or training that is at a lower intensity for a longer duration. So your body has the opportunity to tap into your fat storage as the source of energy to support your exercise efforts. HIIT workouts or higher intensity workouts tend to pull from glycogen stores that are released from primarily your muscles during exercise and puts glucose into your bloodstream. And for short bursts or HIIT type of workouts, that's primarily the energy source that's used. So it's important to know what your goals are and what you want as a result from your exercise efforts to make sure that you're working out appropriately so you're not disappointed. And like I said, in today's video, I'm going to share with you three very common ways you can test to see if you are actually producing the fat utilization byproduct of what we're looking for if you're exercising for that result. I'm going to start with the most sophisticated first, and I'm going to end with the easiest and the least expensive way to see if you are actually using your exercise efficiently to burn fat. So I'll do three, most sophisticated to the easiest and most accessible. So make sure you stay to the end to get that piece of advice. So the first one is this little device right here. It is called a Lumen. It is very sophisticated, very sciencey. There is a little bit of a learning curve to it. You might have seen it on an Instagram ad or a YouTube video. I have done some videos I'll link below about how to use the Lumen correctly for the results that you're looking for. And you can use this pre-workout and then post-workout. And this device will tell you through the breath that you exhale into it, what energy source your body's using. So I'm going to share with you just briefly how I have used my Lumen to help me reach my physique and metabolic goals. So this is a metabolic tracking device. It helps you understand how your metabolism is working based on decisions you're making in your life. If you're converting your energy, which is basically food, at night into fat utilization by the morning time, if you need to eat before you work out, how your body responded to the exercise energy demand of a workout. A lot of people use it to determine if they need to break a fast. That's not anything that I do with Lumen. That's not why I use it, but a lot of people use it for that. And then you can use it at night to make sure that your body has responded to the energy that you put into it. And that would be the last meal that you consume for the day. So low numbers on your Lumen indicate that you are utilizing fat as an energy source, and high numbers on your Lumen indicate that your body is responding to something that you have done that would produce carbohydrates, aka sugar or glucose in your system. So a post-workout number or breath on your Lumen, if your goal is fat utilization, would be a 1 or a 2 reading. And that indicates that the fuel or the CO2 that your body is emitting is proof that you are utilizing fat stores as the primary energy source to support your workout. This is one of the ways that I determined that I was working out too hard during my workout. If I did a workout and my breath was a 3, 4, or 5, then I put way too much effort or intensity in my workout for the goal that I had, which is fat utilization. And I brought my heart rate back down to that 1, 2, or mid to low zone 3 of my training heart rate. Again, I explained that in the video that I posted here and will be down in the description box below. Then post-workout, I was blowing a 1 or a 2 in my Lumen device, which proved that my exercise effort did in fact produce fat burning. And the byproduct of fat burning are ketones. And we're going to get into that in just a second. So again, this device can be very helpful for you. If you're looking to utilize fat stores as your primary energy for working out, this device will tell you whether you are working out too intensely and you use too many glycogen stores and there's too much glucose in your system, or if you worked out at the appropriate intensity to utilize fat as your energy source. CO2 is what's measured here. It's the same concept as a VO2 max test, which does help you determine what your training heart rate zones would be. Again, I talked about that in my last video, so you can go back and watch that. And so I like this because it does like coincide with the science of VO2 max training and working out at the appropriate intensity level for the goal that you have. This can be a little pricey for some. There is a learning curve to this. You have to be patient and you have to trust the science because the feedback that you're getting in this is a true result of what it is your body is responding to. And so again, for some people, that's just too difficult to do or could be too time consuming to do, and they're not patient enough. And so you have to know your personality before you make an investment in something like a Lumen, but it is trendy, it is scientific, and it will give you the results that you are looking for to determine your exercise intensity. The second way to test to see if you are actually utilizing fat as your primary energy source when exercising is a Keto Mojo. This is a blood glucose and ketone meter. So you do have to prick your finger and get some blood out to determine what is actually in your bloodstream. With the Lumen, I wait about 30 minutes post-exercise to check to see what my metabolic response is to my exercise. You want to make sure you're back at a resting heart rate as well with the Lumen. I didn't mention that. And you don't do anything between the end of your workout and testing in your Lumen. The Keto Mojo is the same type of thing. You want to wait probably about an hour or so after you exercise just to kind of see how things have transitioned and what's actually available in your bloodstream. There are glucose strips like this, and there are ketone strips that look like this. It's blue, so you probably can't see it. You prick your finger with the little device here. You get a little blood out. You put it at the end of your strip. You put it in your Keto Mojo, and it'll tell you what your blood glucose is and your ketones are. I do like to test both when I'm doing a post-exercise test, just because I do like to see what my glucose response is as well. And then I do like to track my GKI reading, which is the relationship of glucose to ketones at the same time. And so what I like to shoot for post-exercise are ketones that are 0.5 or above, which is indicative of being in ketosis. If you have ketone readings of 0.5 or above, you are in ketosis. And then when you do the GKI, there's a rating from 9 to 1, and that's the relationship of glucose to ketones. I like to be from a 9 to about a 5. I really don't like to go any lower than a 5. And so if I'm anywhere in that range, everything worked exactly the way I wanted it to. If I test my ketones and my numbers aren't where that I want them to be, I usually just wait about 30 minutes. I'll have some water. I'll walk around a little bit. It just means that my blood hasn't caught up yet to the activity that I participated in. And as long as I end up in what is considered ketosis in my GKI reading, so that would be that 9 to about 5, then everything worked out as planned. The one thing that you don't want to do with either one of those two devices if you're testing is shower or go into a sauna or anything like that that would raise your body temperature. That does raise blood glucose levels and will not give you a true reading of what your exercise efforts are, because you're going again to shift what your metabolic response is because you're doing something different or in addition to the exercise. So make sure you just do your exercise when you're testing. Now, with the Keto Mojo or with the Lumen, it's really important that you test consistently throughout the week or the month or whatever, because the more you use your Lumen, the more personalized it becomes to you. With the Keto Mojo, I only do tests as a check-in. Are my workouts, are my feasting choices, are my fasting decisions together yielding me the result that I want? And if my numbers check out, everything's a-okay, I put my meter away and I'll probably test again in a couple of weeks. So it's nothing that has to be too cumbersome. Once you purchase the kit with your Keto Mojo, then the only thing you really have to do is replace your strips. And so I'm really conservative with how I do my testing because I don't want to have to buy strips all the time. So this moves us into our third way of testing to see if your exercise efforts are actually yielding you fat utilization results. And this is the least expensive, least invasive, and the easiest thing for everyone to do as long as you're making the right mindset choices. And that is trust yourself. and trust your body. If you are working out in a true low intensity, like a longer duration type of exercise effort, you're managing your training heart rate zones and you're keeping things in that mid to low zone 3 or below. You're working out for a long enough period of time that you can get into that fat utilization. You're backing that up with sound nutritional choices to support your exercise efforts, and you're fasting long enough to keep those tanks drained so that you have the opportunity to get into those fat stores during your exercise, then that's where the trust comes in. And the time and consistency will yield you the fat utilization and the results that you're hoping for. In addition to having that mindset working in your favor and being really honest with the choices that you're making, I always like to recommend staying off the scale, because the scale is never caught up to the true results that are taking place with your body, but do visual check-ins. How is the body fat that you see, that outer layer, how's it looking to you? Are you noticing a little bit more muscle definition popping out? Are you noticing that your waistline is thinning out? Are you noticing that maybe your hips and your thighs and your leg area is thinning out? Are you sleeping better? Do you feel more confident? Like, all of those are also indications that things are moving in the right direction. And I always say check in with yourself on those things as well, because those are signs that you are utilizing fat as an energy source, because fat is a clean energy source that just feels absolutely amazing when you get into that rhythm of tapping into it consistently. Now, the reason I always recommend staying off the scale, again, is because it's the scale is never caught up to the actual results and changes that are going on in your body. And oftentimes, if you are new to working out, and let's say you're doing some cardio type of workout and you're also incorporating some strength training type of workout, you could actually see an increase in the number on the scale simply because you're exchanging fat for muscle weight. And we know muscle weighs more than fat. So you can lose a lot of fat and put on muscle and your weight can go up. And so I don't want you to be detoured by any kind of negative emotion you have with a number that's associated to you on a scale. It means absolutely nothing. I say go by how you look and feel. If you look slimmer, if you feel slimmer, if your clothes are fitting you differently, then everything is moving in the right direction. You have to do the mindset work on you, though. You have to trust you, and you have to be able to see and recognize the positive changes in you. You can't be negative Nelly about your body image. You can't be super critical of how your body looks. If you see something's changing in the positive direction, you have to trust that it's changing in the positive direction, and then do what I always say to do. Rinse and repeat what you're doing consistently over time, and the results will get better. Quick review: the Lumen Metabolic Tracker. It is a little costly. There is some commitment to it. There is some patience that's associated with this, because there is, like I said, that learning curve to this, but it is trendy, it's scientific, and it's super fun if you can wrap your head around the commitment that is needed with the Lumen. There's also the Keto Mojo, if you want that really accurate true reading of what is in your bloodstream at any given time. Testing blood glucose and ketone levels is key, because again, you're going to get exactly the number that's associated with the effort that you put into your exercise. This is one of my favorite things to use. Again, I only do it once or twice every couple of weeks as a spot check to make sure everything I'm doing is working the way I want it to work. And then the third option is trusting yourself and doing the mindset work on yourself. If you're honest with your exercise efforts and you're consistent with those, if you're honest with your feasting choices and the choices that you're making in your nutrition will back up the efforts that you want to get from your workouts, and you're fasting long enough to keep those tanks drained, meaning you don't have a bunch you have to burn off through your exercise efforts, because you're letting fasting do the work that it does so beautifully, and that's keeping those glucose tanks drained, then you will see amazing results with your fat utilization efforts with that exercise. I will put links down below for the Lumen if you want to go check that out, as well as a Keto Mojo testing kit if you would like to look into that as well. If you already have those devices, I say pull them back out and maybe readdress them with this new mindset and this new way of utilizing them to test the efforts that you are putting into your workouts, and then adjust accordingly based on the feedback you're getting from the devices you're using to test. If you have any questions about Lumen, Keto Mojo, or your mindset around the decisions you're making, always feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you're a Lumen user and you're using it to track your metabolic flexibility with your exercise, let us know, because we love to hear success stories, and that'll encourage other women to seek out some testing devices as well. Maybe if you're using a Keto Mojo or you do test your blood ketones, let us know as well. I'm always interested to see who in our community is doing some testing. And if you're just going with the old, I'm going to trust my gut on this one and I've got my back, I'm going to make sure I'm making all the decisions that I need to make to get the result that I say that I really want for myself, I also want to hear from you, because that is a skill set that is precious and priceless. And when you get that figured out, that is a huge win. I'm here for you. I can't wait to hear from you. I hope this helps you with the end result of those exercise efforts that we are doing, and will help you figure out where you need to make those tweaks so you can also get everything that you say that you really want for yourself.